A very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and shall I say welcome back to day 2 of our 2021 Student Virtual Orientation session, hosted in collaboration with the Student Retention Unit and the Regional Centers. My name is Denzel Chetty, and I'm going to be your program director for today. For those of you that joined us yesterday, welcome back. It's been great having you yesterday. The interactive questions that you've posed, and I think we'll have some responses to some of those questions today. But thank you for sharing with us and joining us for that 4.5 lengthy hour in terms of the orientation. But it was really great to have all of you. And welcome back, as I said, to day 2. So as many of you know, UNISA is one of the leading distance education institutions. And I mentioned this yesterday that its main vision is towards the African university in shaping futures in the service of humanity. Now, as a distance learning university and being one of the leading universities in Africa, UNISA functions as an open distance e-learning model. And we've unpacked some of these elements yesterday in our sessions. But what does it mean to have a teaching and learning environment that is mediated by technology? And we've seen the impact of COVID-19 on a national scale where universities actually embrace technology. Yesterday, we started to unpack some of these elements and what it means for us as an institution. And today we will continue with those type of discussions as well. Now, let me begin by providing some brief guidelines for those that are new and didn't join us yesterday. You will note a chat facility on the top screen, on the top end of your screen. Please use that chat facility to communicate with us. You can post your questions, your comments, your thoughts, anything that you want to engage with us. We have a group of expert specialists that are working in the background to respond to your questions. Now, as you would have known from yesterday, that our student numbers are quite large. That means we may have student queries and student questions that comes through very, very fast. But please bear with us because we are responding to all those questions, as I said, and we'll give you more information as we go forward today. Now, let me at this time take the opportunity to invite once again with us Prof. Mashile, the Executive Director for the Department of Tuition Support and Facilitation of Learning, to officially welcome you once again to day 2 of our special student orientation. Welcome, Prof. Thanks for joining us, and I'll end the platform to you, Prof.
Good day, Program Director. Good day, students and all the colleagues who will be making presentations in this orientation sessions. We really appreciate the time that you are spending with us. And we just want to welcome you back again, students who are joining us for the second day, and those who are only joining us today for the first time. We'd like to welcome you. UNISA is an ODEL institution. It is a comprehensive institution. So we cover a lot of different programs in our systems. And so the particular needs and experiences of you might not be the same throughout because of the nature of your programs. So it is quite important that you do participate in orientation sessions like this one so that you can better understand what pertains to you, so that you can better understand where you need to go should there be questions that you need to ask. We in the Department of Tuition and Facilitation of Learning have set up a space in what we call the first year student experience. There is a website, the details of which will be provided to you, where you can be able to also, in addition to the various portals within our regions and the main UNISA site, where you can be able to get further information about UNISA and how we operate. So we trust that even in the second day of this orientation, you will remain engaged, you will remain asking questions, because it is only when you ask the questions that we can be able to be of assistance. We really appreciate this time, and we want to wish you well for your studies, and also to wish you well for this orientation session. Thank you very much, students, and thank you very much, Program Director. Back to you.
Thank you very, very much, Prof. Mashile, for that warm welcome to our students. Ladies and gentlemen, if you missed out yesterday's session, I would suggest that you look up the recording.
Program Director, sorry, you are muted.
Thanks. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us once again, and apologies for that. Once again, thanks to Prof. Mashile for sharing those warm words of expectations, what students can expect from UNISA. Ladies and gentlemen, I also want to quickly say that if you missed yesterday's session, please watch the social media spaces and the UNISA space for the recording. You will get an insight into some of the important elements that we discussed yesterday, and also some of the points that Prof. Mashile mentioned in terms of the first year experience, and also his own testimony in terms of how he progressed up the ranks. So please remember to catch some of those insights from yesterday. As Prof. Mashile also echoed earlier, your questions are very important to us, so please remember, post your questions in the comments tab, and we've got a dedicated group of people that are working behind the scenes to assist you. So ladies and gentlemen, as I said earlier, that UNISA is advancing towards a technology integrated space, open distance e-learning. We've unpacked that yesterday, but what does it mean in terms of UNISA's teaching and learning environment? And today, we're going to have a dedicated hour to look at understanding the UNISA learning environment, and more specifically, the management systems and support systems that are available. And up first, we have Ms. Tracy Olcroft, who will talk to us of one of the most critical elements at UNISA, the learning management system, MyUNISA. And she's going to unpack how do you submit your assignments, download study material by your mobile devices, and a lot of the other technical aspects that come with it as well. So, Ms. Tracy Olcroft, thank you very much for joining us today. I'd like to now hand over the platform to you as you lead us in this critical discussion.
Hi, Denzel. Thank you very much for this opportunity, and welcome to everybody. I'm going to go through this very quickly, but you will have access to this at a later stage. So MyUNISA, My Life in a nutshell. Obviously, I can't go through everything, it'll take too long, but I'm going to share with you important things that you need to know about MyUNISA. Okay, so we're going to cover how to claim your MyUNISA account, how to log into your My Life, what your My Modules section is all about, what a subject site is, as well as your My Admin, how important it is to log out of MyUNISA, and even more how important it is to constantly update your contact information. So to claim MyUNISA, once you are registered and you have a student number and you have been issued with a letter saying that you are now registered, you're going to go to your MyUNISA account, which is on the MyUNISA homepage. I will share all of these URLs with you a little bit later as well. But your homepage, you're going to click on Claim UNISA Login. It's going to bring up a block or box for you to enter your student number. You are then going to enter your personal details as well as your ID number. If you are an international student, please do not enter your ID number under the South African identity field. It must be under the passport identity field where it says foreign ID. Okay, a box is going to come up to read and acknowledge that you've read the guidelines, and it also briefly explains the importance of not sharing this information with other people. And once you've acknowledged those blocks, you will then click on the acknowledge sign button, and you will now be able to work on MyUNISA. How are we going to log in? Okay, we've now claimed MyUNISA. You only claim it once. Afterwards, you will always just log in. Okay, I'm going to show you My Life. My Life account is automatically created for students once they have been registered. Okay, there are different ways that you can access your My Life. You can access it from the home page of the My UNISA, where there is a orange button and a hand, or you can go directly via the URL, which is unisa.ac.za/sites.myunisa/myunisa/default. Again, these will be shared with you. Once you are in, either via the click on My Life button or the URL, you are going to get a page with a sign in option. You will see it as a Microsoft page, and you will need to type in your full My Life email address. When you log into My UNISA, it is only your student number. When you log into My Life, you must put in your student number at mylife.unisa.ac.za. The password is the password that was given to you when you claimed. You would have either got an SMS or it would have shown on the screen. That password is valid for both My UNISA and My Life. Once you're into your My Life account, you will see that there are two boxes. You've got a focus box and an other box. I would suggest that you click on the settings in the top right corner, okay, and you turn off the focused inbox. That way, all of your emails will just go directly into your email box, your inbox, and you won't miss out on important information. Sometimes the system will look at something as more important and put it into the focus box. So please try and remember to combine those and turn it off. Okay, right. You can go through your emails to sign out. Also in your top right-hand corner, the little image where your face could be, or it's otherwise a face icon. Click on the sign out, and then your new page will appear saying you've signed out of your account. It is very, very important that if you are accessing My Life or My UNISA from a public environment, it is very, very important that you please always sign out or log out. Right, we're going to look at how to log into My UNISA. Remember, I said to you, you could either access it via that homepage or the URL, okay? And if you cannot remember how to get to My UNISA, go to the normal UNISA account, and there is a block called My UNISA. So you can click on that block, or again, there is that URL that we shared earlier on. Always the home page. There is a section called Notices, and there's a section called Important Links. These are very, very important. If there is a problem with anything, let's say assignments or registrations, and it pertains to the whole university, please read these notices. You will save yourself a lot of time by emailing people unnecessarily when it is on the home page. So please, very important, remember to go and read your notices, and also there is a little section there with some important links. Logging into My UNISA, you will now enter your student number only. Remember, My Life, whole email account, My UNISA, student number only. You are going to enter the password that was given to you, and you are going to click log on or log in. Please note that this password is not shared with anybody and is generated by the system, so it is a secure password, and I would advise that you please keep that password and try not to change your password. Okay, just a little tip. Right, please take note that when you log in, you have two tabs. One is called My Modules and the other one is called My Admin. So under my modules, that is all your information that relates to the subjects you are registered for. So everything you need to do with those subjects will be under my modules. My admin, on the other hand, is only admin functions. Your account, your registration, your anything that has to do with your personal information, etc. That is all on my admin. Let's have a look quickly at the my modules. Right, so this is the home page. Okay, again, there might be messages in your home page. Read it, and it's a general message regarding anything in my UNISA. Right, you're going to have under your modules a calendar as well, and you can view your calendar by day, by week, by month. You can even sort it by year or by event. Under your preferences, you can click on how you want notifications. You can click on your time zone and change your time zone if you're in another country. I know nowadays the computers do pick that up automatically. You can choose your language. Please, at this stage, it's only English. And you can see if there are any hidden sites. A lot of students have been saying, I can't find my sites. Please go into your preferences, click on hidden sites, and if there is a tick under any one of these, that means your site will be hidden. If there is no tick, then you can go and access those sites and make them available on your grey preferences, your grey bar. I'm going to show you that quickly. Okay, so if you want to add your sites up here as shortcuts, you're going to click on the little sites option here next to your name. All right, you are going to then activate the little gold stars next to the site's name. In this instance, we have selected those two to show and this one not to show. All right, when we have decided which ones we want, we're going to click on the little X to close that window, and underneath this grey bar you are going to see a message that says reload to update your favorite sites. Once you do this, all of your sites will now appear in your grey bar. Again, the ones that you have chosen. What is a subject site? Okay, so a subject site is, it's not always the same for one subject to another subject. I need to tell you that right up front. The tools can differ, okay? But here you will have your welcome message. Normally this is from the lecturer, the primary lecturer or the TA. They will put a little message in there, and you'll be able to hopefully have their contact information as well. Next to that is, okay, so your overview, then you get your assessment info, your announcements, your official study material, etc. Again, not all lecturers use the same tools. I'm going to show you the difference between a master site and a tutor site. A master site will always have the subject code, the year, and either the semester 1, 2, or a year site. Okay, it'll be the overall site. A tutor site will have a number and an alphabetical letter, and that will be a tutor site. So here you can see FAC 1503-19 semester 2, and here you will see FAC 1503-19 semester 2 7E. 7E refers to the group that you've been allocated to, as well as your e-tutor. Okay, your master site, your primary lecturer populates the relevant information for the whole site. Okay, your e-tutor site, that is where your e-tutor will personalize their information to help you with contact, etc. Okay, sorry, I just went back there for a minute. Okay, so please also be careful. Sometimes the master sites and e-tutor sites look the same. So just remember that little 7E or whatever number and letter you have at the end of yours. Announcements, the tool. Here you will find all important announcements pertaining to this particular subject. Not every lecturer uses announcement tools. So if there are no announcements, please don't complain, or you can complain to the lecturer and ask for more, but it does not necessarily mean that they are ignoring you. They just might not use that particular tool. You then get your official study material. So here you will find your tuck letters, your study guides, and previous examination papers if they are available. Okay, I know with this new semester problem that we've had this year where everything has become one entity, okay, I know a lot of the lecturers have put up their tutorial letters, study guides, etc. under the additional resources. But as a norm, that is where you will find your official study material. Okay, under additional resources, if you only see a little folder, but you do not see any documents underneath that folder, that means there is nothing there, okay? It means nothing. It means, yes, there are files available. So if there is nothing, it purely could be that that lecturer does not share any additional resources, and don't panic if you don't see anything under there. Your site calendar, this will show all of your dates for your assignments, for your examinations, etc. And remember, this pertains to this particular subject. Okay, important to remember. If you want to see everything for all of your subjects, you will do that on your preferences page right in the beginning under that little My Modules link. Okay, your assessments. The assessments now require you to log in again on another page. So it'll open up another site, another window, and you will log in and you will see your assignments there. Under the site, you will only see the assignments pertaining to that particular subject. All right, again, discussion forums, lecturers must create your discussion topics, and the general discussion forum is created by default. So again, if there's nothing there, your lecturer may not be using that particular discussion forum. Okay. A discussion forum, you can add a topic. Remember, they will create the main topic, and then you can add under that main topic, and there you will see a list of all the topics that are displayed, and you can click on them and see what's in and comment back to your lecturer or TA. My admin, remember I said to you, this pertains to everything admin-wise for your studies. So here you will have a look at that, and you will see that these sections up at the top here are all your admin tools that are needed for you to see what is going on. All right. So My UNISA, welcome to My UNISA. This is your student admin. Okay. Let's have a look. We're going to go into this in more depth. We're going to have a look at the one link, and it says academic record. Under there, you can see what you've studied, what you've passed, what you haven't passed. You can apply for exemption. It is very important that you go there as well and update your biographical details, such as your cell number. If your cell number changes, please, it is very important that you update your details, because that is one of the main forms of communication between UNISA and their students. You can go and look at the digital access centres and go and book. You can enroll for learning with the Learning Centre for different classes on Microsoft or on Word or etc. Okay, your final semester, this is where you can request to exceed the maximum number of modules. In your final year, you are allowed to register for 12 subjects, but you need to fill out this particular form. Okay, the maximum number is 10 for all students, but final semester you can request permission. You will find your graduation information here, readmission information. You can register additional modules. So if you've registered and you've decided you want to take another 2 extra modules, you can go in and edit your registration by adding in the 2 extra modules that you want to. Please take note of cutoff dates though, all right? The same applies as registering online. Your edit registration works on those dates as well. Here you can also request cancellation of your modules. You can get proof of your registration, and you can also request a semester change. That unfortunately is not available at the moment because things have been combined into one. I don't know where my study material is. Go onto your My Admin, click on your study material, and there are links there where you can go and monitor where at the SA Post Office or at the courier service your study material actually is. Student finance, this is when you can go, where you can go and pay your account. There's a credit card payment option, as well as the relevant information for EFTs, how to do it at the bank, etc. You can get all of your financial details with receipts of what you paid, what you haven't paid, what you're still outstanding, etc. And you can also go and get a quotation on how much it's going to cost you to add on or to register for the next semester or year. Assessment admin. Under this assessment admin, here you will see all of the module assignments that you are registered for. Remember, under the site, only pertain to that particular site. But under the assessment info admin, under my admin, you will see all of your subject codes, as well as all of your examination results, as well as your whole examination timetable. Here is what it looks like, okay? All of your subject codes will come up, and you have formative assessments and summative assessments, which could be in a portfolio type format. Some of them could be a fully online tool that you need to use. So please just have a look, and please make sure that you look down this column, the action column, which will tell you that is a tool forum. You need to answer this assignment via one of the tools in your site. Okay. You can go and change your password if you want to. Please, you must also just remember that it could affect your My Life account, in that it'll take a little bit longer for your My Life account to update once you have changed your password. The quickest and most reliable is to go and select forgotten password. Take my word for it, it works much quicker. Very important, log out. Please, we have had malicious people, and I'm not being funny or anything here. We've had people who've broken up in relationships and the one partner's been malicious and has gone and deregistered them or submitted a load of nonsense for assignments, etc. You might have somebody who you've ticked off. If you're working in a public space, please don't take me seriously, but they might just see, this person hasn't logged out and it has happened. Let me go and play around with the account. It is very, very important. Please, my life and my UNISA, you have to log out. So I'm going to share some contact info for you. Okay, I think these slides will also be made available to you. I know the regions can use them with the greatest of pleasure. So your important emails are mylifehelp@unisa.ac.za and myunisahelp@unisa.ac.za. There is a toll-free number as well. Please always go and check on the UNISA website. There is a section there for student contact information, and it gives you everything. Okay, but there we go. There you can have some additional help. As I promised, the important URLs to remember for your MyLife, mylife.unisa.ac.za, or you can click on the link with the little finger pointing up on the My UNISA homepage. My UNISA is the https://sites/myunisa.default. Okay, so the other thing is to go onto the main UNISA website and click on that link. And that is my presentation. I hope I've helped you a little bit, and I hope you enjoy working on this platform, which is there to help you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Tracy, for introducing our students to the UNISA Learning Management System. As I sat and listened to you, you've given our students so much of gems in terms of how to work with the learning management system. And if I just recall a few for our students, how to log on to the My UNISA platform, how to navigate the My UNISA platform, the difference between the master sites and the tutor sites. And for those that missed out yesterday, if you want to know more about the tutoring system at UNISA, the integrated tutor model, please watch the session that was recorded yesterday. You've also spoke about, Tracy, the assignments, how to submit the assignments, how to update the details, the administrative issues that the student can also do on My UNISA. And I think the last part where our students must make sure that they keep their passwords safe and lock their systems continuously. So thank you very much for that, Tracy. I think you've done excellent in terms of orientating our students to what the My UNISA Learning Management Platform is and what it can do. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you actually log on and try it after our session, experiment on your own as well. Now, we spoke in length about the way UNISA is approaching the technology integration in teaching and learning. And one of those things, as mentioned by Tracy, is the enhanced learning management system that we have at UNISA. But it's also quite interesting that we're offering a very exciting tool at UNISA, a space, Microsoft Office 365. Now, many of you may be familiar with Microsoft Office 365, but it is an array of tools that are available for you. And we've asked one of the digital learning analyst advisors, Mr. Richard Wright, to join us today and share with us some of the elements of Microsoft 365. And I know he's got a brilliant presentation for you. So sit back and let me welcome Richard to the platform and hand over to Richard. Welcome, Richard, and thank you for taking the time to share this with us. And I know this is going to be an exciting journey for our students.
So thank you very much, Denzel. So as Denzel mentioned, this afternoon I'm going to introduce to you Microsoft 365. Just a quick introduction and also the learning support that's available for you to get up and running with these apps. So my name is mentioned is Richard Wright. I'm a digital learning advisor from the Western Cape region, and we are there to assist you with all these technologies. So you can always contact your DLA in your region for assistance with any of these platforms. Now, the first thing that you might be wondering is, where does this Microsoft 365 come from? Now, your MyLife email account is actually an Outlook account that's part of the apps that's provided by Microsoft 365. So once you get your MyLife account, then you actually got a Microsoft 365 account. Now, you might be familiar with the previous name of Office 365, but this has been changed last year, where Microsoft now put everything under the one name of Microsoft 365. So if somebody tells you to access your Office 365 account, it is actually your Microsoft 365 account. So firstly, you might be wondering, what is Microsoft 365? Now, when you heard the terms previously, cloud computing, online productivity, this is actually what Microsoft 365 is. So you can see it as a cloud-based collaborative platform. So you can access apps that you can have on your desktop or your mobile phone. You can access it online, and they all sync up continuously. It also allows you to collaborate with other people, so you can work on one document. So this is really the future of where the technology is going. And if you learn these tools, it will really help you in the future with anything that you take on. So as mentioned, there's a lot of apps if you're under Microsoft 365, and the university actually didn't restrict you to just the specific apps that you can use for studying. So you'll find some very powerful apps such as Power Apps and Power Automate, where you can actually create your own apps or create your own systems where it automates certain functions. Now, you're free to go and play around with all these apps and learn them, because that will just create your productivity in the end. But for studying purposes, these are the apps that you have to focus on. So the first one is Outlook. So as mentioned, that is your MyLife account, your official email account that you will always use to send communication to the university, and where you will receive communication from the university. And the second one is OneDrive. Now, OneDrive is, you can see, as your online hard drive. We get a lot of students still coming to the labs, and they use, for instance, USB drives. So they have that USB drive from their first year of study till their third year. Basically, they use it as a hard drive, but then one day they come in, there's shorts or they lose it, so they lost all their work. So even if you don't have internet connectivity always, and you use a USB, when you get to a place, back up your things on OneDrive. And what's nice about it is you don't need to then have a specific computer to access it. You can access it from your phone or from an internet cafe, anywhere, any device where you've got internet connectivity. Then we've got Teams that's playing now a bigger role in workshops. The Teams will be covered in the next session more in depth because of its importance during this current times where online workshops is becoming the norm. The other app I want to introduce you to is OneNote. So you might get a lot of notes when you're studying. You make little summaries, things that you don't forget. Now, OneNote is a place where you can actually create different pages, and you can save all your notes on there. And you can, as mentioned, you can be on your cell phone making notes if you think of something, and it will be available on your computer by the time you start working perhaps on your assignments. So for OneNote, if you want to organize from the beginning all the resources that you access or interesting things that you might require later, that is the place to go and place that, or use notes, put in that notes, you can say. So, and then the other thing that the main ones that you might be familiar with is the Office packages. It used to be traditionally on the Office that you bought, that you installed on your computer. And that will be Word for word processing. You use this mostly for your assignments, the written assignments. So it's very important that you learn how to use Word correctly and efficiently, and also always save your documents, especially for collaboration purposes. Then the other app that's also you might use for your presentation is PowerPoint. And if you're doing something financial or numerics, then you'll use Excel for data analysis. Now, you might think, why would I want to use this if I can just have the old Office that's installed on my computer, or you can have your notepad on your computer? Now, what's nice about with Microsoft 365, when you log in, you can access it from anywhere. So as mentioned, you can do it on your tablet, you can jump from your tablet to your desktop, you can go to an internet cafe or to one of the computer access labs at UNISA, and you just log in and all your documents is available to you. The other thing is the collaboration. You can actually collaborate on documents. So you can, while you're actually working on a Microsoft Word document, you're doing group work perhaps, the other students can also work on that document at the same time. Especially when you get to master's level, group work becomes very important. So then usually you work on documents at the same time, and you edit and put your inputs and chat even in the document. Now, one other thing is documents are saved automatically, so you don't have to worry about not saving the document. We've had people sitting in the labs working on a document the whole day basically, and in the end of the day the power goes out or something happens and they lost all that work. So this is also very important that it saves automatically, but it also gives you version control. So if you accidentally deleted something, you can always go back to a previous version and retrieve everything you do. And as mentioned, it's safe and secure. It's online. It's on the Microsoft platform. They've got very strong authentication systems, and you can even add double authentication where you have to access it with a phone or a PIN to make it just extra secure. Now, most importantly, why you would want to go and spend the time also to learn these apps. These are the apps that they use in the workplace. So you can actually, when you learn and you're proficient in these apps, you can actually add this to your CV, and this will increase your chances actually of getting a job one day, because everybody is moving to cloud platforms. So, and even if you're going to work in a different cloud platform, the fundamentals will remain the same. So you do your studies, you do very well, you learn these platforms, it will assist you in your productivity with learning, but it's something that you can take forward when you come into the workplace. You are familiar with these apps and you can perform right away. So how do you access Microsoft 365? Now, when you log into your MyLife accounts, your email accounts, you'll actually see at the top left hand, there's a little button, so all the apps are available. But if you want to go to the portal where all the apps are available, you can simply go to office.com and sign in with your MyLife account. So that will be the MyLife account that you get once you claim your MyUNISA password. And remember, it's always the same password. But when you log into office.com, you have to use your full MyLife email address, and that is your student number followed at mylife.unisa.ac.za. Now, the nice thing also about this is if you're going to get your laptops, you might have tablets. So this is actually paid software. So if you log in, you can actually go and download the Office 365 to your computer. So you'll have all the Word, Excel, everything directly on your device. So you don't always need to go onto the internet to go and work with these apps. You can log into office.com, and then in the top right-hand corner, you'll see there's an icon install Office. So you can actually install it on your Windows PC, Mac, or any device that you have. Then the other option is if you're using a tablet or your phone, you can always go to the Play Store or you can go to the iOS Store, and you can actually download these apps, and you also sign in to activate them with your MyLife account, and it will all sync up together. But I will also put a lot of the links for you in the chat so that you can actually go directly to those apps. Now, one thing that you might just be your first time actually working online even, and so studying online. So how do you actually go about learning all these tools? Now, fortunately, UNISA did step in, and under the project of the ADOVH, we created a MOOC for you that's free and open, so you can access it at any time. You can even send it to your friends or somebody from different universities or work, and anybody can access this this MOOC. And this is really aimed at creating the core skills for you in an online environment where you can build up your skills that it will enable you to actually be on different platforms, so you can be very, how can I say, proficient in using all of these tools. So in this core skills for being an online learner, we've got a few modules, because we don't want to expect that you know already what a learning management system is, what that's now, for instance, my UNISA, what are the tools that's on there, how do you use it. So we take you from the beginning, we tell you what does it mean to be an online learner, what is the core skills that you have to personally be able to do to actually be successful. And then we also slowly introduce you to the digital skills. We actually go through the Office 365 apps and you learn what is the fundamentals of them, how to use them, but with core skills that you can easily apply to any platform that you will encounter in the future. So definitely go have a look at this, the MOOC. You can enroll at it any time, and it will definitely help you to improve, and you'll save a lot of time on doing assignments and in your normal online learning practices. Now, another thing that's also very important with this course is we introduce you to the safety aspects. So, and how to actually ethically participate online. And this is one thing that's very often overlooked. But remember, with any environment, you always have to know what is the safety tips, because there is people that's gonna want to perhaps steal your data that you have, or have access to the platforms that you have, especially if they learn that you've got an Office 365 account, they perhaps want access to your apps. So there is some real skills on how to protect yourself in this modern world. So to access the MOOC site, I will add all the links for you into the announcements. So you simply go to mooc.unisa.ac.za. If you're a first year student, you might already have an account there for when you did the first year experience project. So you just simply go to MOOC, you follow the 2 steps of first how to register, gives you step-by-step instructions, and you create a new account. Once you log in, you can just go to membership, and you will see that on the joinable sites tab, you can just scroll through all the resources that's available. So there's a lot of courses for you that you can actually do, and a lot of them can actually help you in the future with your studies. But when you're really starting with your first time, come and have a look at the MOOC for core skills, and it is, you can just scroll down until you find ADOVH M6, and then you can just click on the join button. That's it. So thank you. That's all from me. And so I'll post all the links for you in the discussion forum so you can access it directly. As mentioned as well, the MOOC sites are all for free and you can enroll at any time. And I really hope that you're going to embrace this new world of online technology and be the best that you can be in your studies. Thank you.
Thanks, Richard. This is really exciting, ladies and gentlemen. The way Richard unpacked some of the new services that are offered by UNISA in terms of the Microsoft 365, the variety of apps that he unpacked. I mean, those are really some cutting-edge apps that he mentioned in terms of what is available to you. But also, he mentioned that it's all synced, and it's also a collaborative space for you as well. For those that don't have the sophisticated laptops and have a good mobile device, these are mobile compatible platforms as well, and apps that you can use. And I like when Richard said cloud storage, that he mentioned. He will include those login details as well as part of the announcements. Please go ahead and access that and make full advantage of it. I've seen the MOOC created by Richard, and it's actually excellent content to prepare you for the UNISA environment, specifically the open distance e-learning environment. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we went from the learning management system to Microsoft 365, some of those apps. And now we move on to something that you're already a bit familiar with, the Teams app. And what potentially it has, the MS Teams app, the MS Teams platform, what potentially it has for you, because this is going to be integrated specifically into the UNISA environment. You'll find it either used by lecturers, by the e-tutors, as well as in sessions such as this. And we've invited Mr. Madisa Matsopane to please introduce us to this app and share and orientate us into this particular space. So welcome, Madisa, and thank you for taking the time to share this very important app for us and what it can do at UNISA. I hand over the platform to you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Denzel. Midday colleagues, midday students. Yes, just to confirm, my name is Matsobane Jonas Madisha. I'm a DLA, Digital Learning Advisor, based in Polokwane. I'm going to present about how to access and navigate a Microsoft session or Teams. So as my colleagues already explained, what is it? So my focus is specifically on Teams, Microsoft Teams. So I'm going to dwell much on Microsoft Teams. UNISA entered into agreement with Microsoft, and as such, students and staff have access to Office 365 package. So that package includes this app, which is Microsoft Teams. So what is a Microsoft Teams? A Microsoft Teams is an integrated communication and collaborative platform that combines persistent chat, video meetings, file storage, and applications. What does UNISA use Microsoft Teams for? We use it to support you as a student for discussion and tutorial classes. So in this instance, your lecturer or your tutor will send you a link or a code to join a class. So which tells you that the walls have fallen. So you will be able to save your transport money and attend wherever you'll be through this app, Microsoft Teams. We also use it for inquiries or queries. It might be in a written form or a telephone form. You are able to call your lecturer from Microsoft Teams, which I will explain more in details in one of the slides, which are still coming. We also use it for direct engagement. It might be one-on-one through video or audio. We use it for webinars or hybrid online conferences. We also use it for orientations, like the one we are having right now. So which tells you that you are at liberty of getting the information at arm's length. What do I mean? So everyone is aware of the situation which we are in right now. So you are able to still communicate, speak to our lecturers through this app. We also use it to share the content. Lecturer can share it to you, or it might be amongst yourselves as students to students. Lastly, it acts as a complementary to my UNISA type support. How do you access a Microsoft Teams? You can do that by visiting this URL, the one that you see there on your screen, and click on the Download Teams app. This will download the Microsoft Teams installation file, or redirect you to the Android Google Play Store or iOS App Store to download the Microsoft Teams. This app can be used on a laptop or a mobile device, as the previous speaker said, my colleague Richard. So when you, after downloading it, this infographic will appear on your screen. So yours is to complete the steps to install the app on your device as per the installation provided, and sign in with your work or school account, which is my live email account, which starts with your student number at mylife.unisa.ac.za and your my UNISA password. This is how it would look, or it looks like. If prompted to select between work or school account and personal, please select work or school account and enter your UNISA password. How to join a Microsoft Teams session. There are multiple ways to join a Microsoft Teams session. You can join by a link or Teams code. When you join a Microsoft Teams, you will be requested to click on this hyperlink. Then the next page, you'll be taken to the next page, whereby you'll be requested to either download the Windows app or continue on the browser that you'll be using. Or if you have already installed a Teams app, then the meeting will automatically open there. You can join from the calendar. Select the calendar on the left side to view your meetings. You can join in a channel. If a meeting takes place in a channel, you will see an invitation to join relevant content and who is in the meeting right in the channel. You can also join from a chat. If the meeting has already begun, it appears in your recent chat list. Yours is to select the meeting in your chat list and select join at the top of the chat. Lastly, you can join by a code. A lecturer will create a team and give you a specific code to join that team. Lecturer will then create a channel within that team, and this is where you will chat and share files. Getting started with Microsoft Teams. Teams are made up of channels then built by the department, module, or topic. So here, assumption is that you have managed to install Teams and you have landed in Teams environment. In terms of channels, you can team up or collaborate on documents, send instant messages, and even hold online meetings or video conference. Accessing Microsoft Teams sessions. In the case of support classes, Microsoft Teams will be used as a video conferencing tool on which you can view and participate in an online video session and access support materials provided by the lecturer or your tutor. At the top of each channel, you'll find these tabs. General. That's where everyone begins to get to work when they have a new Microsoft Teams. Post, you can send a message to one or more people using chat. Files, you are able to share files here on this tab. Last note, it provides every student a place to take notes and collaborate with the class. Lastly, two tabs, assignments and grades, they work almost the same. These tabs allow lecturers to assign tasks to you as a student or a student, manage assignment timelines, instructions, add resources, rubrics to track class and individual student progress. All live sessions can be recorded or pre-recorded. and are able to be shared via cloud storage technology on OneDrive, which all registered students have access to it through Office. There's a OneDrive, which my colleague already explained on how it works. All recorded sessions can be accessed via stream. If you missed a live session, you can watch the recording of the session and access the resources used during the session through this app, Stream. You are also able to make a call from Microsoft Teams. You can call anyone inside or outside UNISA, but subject to data charges. So if you want to call me, what you need to do, you go to your left-hand side where it says calls there, you go to a dialing pad there, then you type in the number that you want to call. Or you can go to a command at the top there, command bar there, command space bar there, where you type in a /call. Then the name of whoever you're looking for will appear there. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Madisa, for unpacking. This is quite a strategic app for our students in terms of communication with UNISA, but also the multiple things that they can do with the app, store files, collaborate with fellow peers, and how this would also be used by UNISA as well. I know you've echoed it, that lecturers will use it, plus we'll be using it very strategically for tutorial services as well. So thank you very much for Madisa for that excellent presentation, unpacking the elements of Teams and how students can actually use it, and also its mobile compatibility as well. So ladies and gentlemen, you've heard another tool that is offered by UNISA in terms of enhancing the technical support and technical integration in teaching and learning. And this is our agenda to drive the 4IR integration in UNISA and also advance the developments towards an open distance e-learning. And as we heard the E element unpacked yesterday. Now we shift our focus a little bit away from the technology to something that I know many of you have got on your mind at this time. COVID-19 impact on UNISA, the changing teaching and learning environment. What does it mean for UNISA in terms of assessment? And I know some of you have followed the conversations last year with the impact of COVID on UNISA and some of the challenges that we have experienced, but also how the environment has transitioned from a venue-based to a non-venue-based assessment approach. And to unpack some of the assessment approaches at UNISA so that you have a good orientation right at the beginning. And going back to that word that we used yesterday, to relieve some of your anxiety, we've asked Dr. Salosh Govender to unpack something on understanding the online approach for 2021. Thank you very, very much, Dr. Salosh Govender, for joining us today and for sharing with us or unpacking with us today in terms of the assessment approach that UNISA has. We appreciate your support at this time, and I'd like to now hand over to you, Dr. Salosh Govender. Thank you very much, Dr. Salosh. Okay, while we're waiting for Dr. Salosh Govender, I think our ICT is currently working on that to get her back on track with us. Let me quickly say that, as we approached last year, we had a lot of challenges in terms of how we approached the assessment, but it gave us an opportunity to fix up some of those challenges. And you find that even in terms of building the capacity of students, look, our colleague earlier, Richard, mentioned the Academic Development Open Virtual Hub project, which is a DED funded project. And one of its deliverables is to build the capacity of academics and students to transition towards the digital terrain. And in the course of the start of April, just towards mid-April, we would start running. And it gives me an opportunity to market this because I'm actually the leader of the project. We would start marketing a lot of competency building workshops that deal specifically with skills on preparing you for the upcoming assessments. So while you hear Dr. Salosh Govender unpack some of these elements, you would also know that we as a unit at OVE will run a whole lot of workshops that will be used to build the competencies. So listen to what Dr. Salosh Govender has to say, but also keep an eye on the upcoming workshops that we have as part of ADOVE, which would orientate you to the different assessments that are used at UNISA and how you need to engage yourself and prepare yourself with that. We now have Dr. Salosh Govender back with us, so let me welcome her as she unmutes her mic so that we can start. Thank you very much, Dr. Salosh Govender, once again, and I hand over the platform to you.
Good afternoon, colleagues. I apologize for the interruption. I'm Salosh Govender, a curriculum development and learning specialist. My area of specialization is assessment. I'm here today with my colleagues Vanessa Sherman and Prof. Ingrid Murray, who will add to this presentation during the chats and for any discussions that may arise. Colleagues, we will guide you and support you in terms of orientating you, to better understand the online assessment. And as we all know, online assessment may be a new phenomenon to many of us. Many of us were not exposed to online assessment in our own experience. So we are here just to give you some support. Okay. The overview of the presentation, colleagues. All right. In this presentation, we would cover aspects such as assessment types, because you would see that in the module that you are studying, you will encounter formative assessments and summative assessments. Next, this presentation will cover the aspects of assessment plan, and here we will talk about the weighting of assessments. Many of you would have realized that in your tutorial letter, different assessments have different weighting, and we will just talk about that as well. Next, we will talk about assessment strategy. And here you'll find that some of the modules will have continuous assessment and some will have the ordinary formative assessments with assignments and online exams. Next, we will give you some tips on strategies on how to approach the different question types, and finally, how to prepare for your online examination. Okay. Colleagues, understanding formative and summative assessment. You will encounter the word formative and summative assessment in your studies. Okay. Now, let us see what it actually means. When we talk about formative assessment, we are actually referring to the assessments that happen frequently throughout the module to enhance your learning process. Right? The purpose of the formative assessment is to identify gaps, misconceptions, and it comes with feedback. Now, the value of the formative assessment is that it informs both the lecturer as well as the students about any difficulties that students might encounter, and it also helps the lecturer and the e-tutors where necessary to give feedback and to kind of mitigate these challenges, right? What is very good about formative assessment is that it is accompanied with ongoing feedback. Colleagues, here, when we talk about formative assessment, what I'm actually referring to is your ongoing learning activities that is integrated in your study material. Okay, so that is formative assessment. We refer to it as formative because it forms new learning in a very constructive way through active engagement and so forth. Examples of the formative assessment that you will encounter, colleagues, is the discussion forum. Therefore, I said to you that it is a type of assessment that happens frequently throughout the learning experience. Right, discussion forums. And here again, we urge you all to please participate in every discussion forum. Try to engage yourself in the discussions. Look at what other students have written in their responses. Try to comment on their responses as well. In this way, you are actively engaging in the learning process and you are going to develop yourself as well. Then we're looking at the ongoing learning activities, colleagues. At UNISA, we follow what we refer to as the framework for active learning, which means that we expect our students to engage with the learning process in a very active manner through collaboration, through constructive learning, meaning that we want you to discover and to learn on your own while we give you all the guidance that we can through our learning activities. Then you will also be expected to engage in blogs, to complete your assignments. There'll be self-assessment, there'll be peer assessments, and also reflections. So all these examples are what we refer to as formative assessment, because it is forming your learning. Okay. Now the next type of assessment is a summative assessment, which you will encounter. I'm sure many of you would have seen the word summative in your tutorial letters. Now, with regard to summative assessment, it normally happens at the end of the instruction period of a module. This means that it will happen at the end of your semester module or at the end of your year module. And the purpose is to collect evidence of students' learning. And the value is your summative assessment normally refers to your examination, okay? And it is used for scoring and for grading the students. Now, with regard to summative assessment, there are different types of summative assessment. Now we have introduced the online examination. Now your online examination may take different formats. It may take the format of essays, MCQs, portfolios, a research report, proposal, a take-home exams, or a timed assessment. But what I want to say here, colleagues, and what I want to impress here is that many students, you know, we all are aware that many of you are working, many of you, you know, are struggling to juggle your work with your studies and so forth. And you tend to focus more on your examination and you kind of disregard the formative assessments. But what we want to say to you that when you engage with a formative assessment, it is going to make your examinations much more easier and give you more confidence in your examination. All right. The next, let us look at an assessment plan. You will realize that every module has an assessment plan. Now, your assessment plan is included in Title Letter 101. An assessment plan includes the following. Which outcomes are to be assessed each year? Colleagues, once again, I want to impress or emphasize the importance of the learning outcomes and your assessment criteria. Those of you who have attended the sessions yesterday, there were a number of presentations that emphasized the importance of learning outcomes, okay, and assessment criteria, because this is exactly what will guide your studies and it will guide you on knowing what you are going to be assessed on. Okay, so your assessment plan, it includes the outcomes that are going to be assessed each year. It also includes when each outcome is going to be assessed, that is your timeline. And it will also include what evidence or sample of work will be collected. For example, whether it is going to take the format of an assignment or discussions or blogs or whatever the case may be. How the evidence of learning will be collected. Multiple methods of assessment in relation to outcomes. Colleagues, here, one may ask, why is it that we are using different methods of assessment for different modules? Here we want to say to you that different outcomes would require different methods of assessment. Some of the outcomes may require you to produce a portfolio of evidence because it requires more practical outcomes to be accomplished there. Your assessment plan will also give you the date when the assessments you know, are due and how your assessments are to be submitted and so forth. And you all know that all assessments now are submitted online. So please look at your assessment plan, and this is very, very, very important, colleagues. Once you have your assessment plan, you'll be able to use the assessment plan for all the modules that you've enrolled in that year and devise your own work schedule so that you do not neglect or ignore any of the modules. Okay, so remember that you need to pay attention to your module plan as it has very important dates and assessments that need to be submitted. Okay. Now, colleagues, I want to move on to what we refer to as assessment strategy. Right. With regard to assessment strategy, right, we're going to talk about continuous assessment and the assignments and online exams. Those of you who have enrolled for many modules, right, you will see that the assessment strategy might differ. Some of the modules may have already moved on to continuous assessment. And to some, the word continuous assessment may be a new phenomenon, right? So we're going to help you to understand what is continuous assessment and how to approach continuous assessment. Next, we will look at the conventional ways of assessment, which was where you had your assignments to complete throughout the year, and then you had your the end of the year examination to write. Now, what you see in green highlights there, right, is the unpacking of continuous assessment, colleagues. So those of you who are writing or who have enrolled for a module that has a continuous assessment strategy, this is what it actually means, right? Firstly, you are not going to have a once-off examination at the end of the year. Now, I'm talking to those students, only those modules that are following a continuous assessment approach, okay? There's going to be multiple varied assessment opportunities, and the number of assessments will differ. Preferably, or usually, a semester module will have between 4 to 6 smaller assessments or tasks that you need to complete, and all of these are compulsory. And a year module, you'll find that you will need to complete between 6 to 8 activities, or what we would call assessment tasks. And then there's no once-off examination, unlike in the conventional system where, you know, there was 20% of the weighting was carried towards your assignments and then 80% towards your examination. But with your continuous assessment, there are a number of assessment tasks, and each assessment task has its own weighting, and each task contributes to the final mark of the students. And that is going to determine whether the student passes or fails. And these multiple varied assessments, they are paced throughout the year. Okay, and we say it's varied because it may include different types of activities such as discussions, blogs, MCQs, quiz, essays, short questions, etc. All these assessments are going to be online. All right, so in short, that is the summary of what continuous assessment constitutes. Now, let's look at the assignments and the online exam strategy there. Here you'll find that there is formative assessments and summative assessments. Now the weighting will differ. In some of the modules, for example, I'm just using this as an example, the weighting of your formative assessments will be like 20%, or it may be 50%, or it may be 40%, and so forth, and your summative weighting is 80%. Right, and here you might have like maybe 2 or 3 assignments, and each assignment is weighted, and it contributes towards your year mark, right? But yeah, towards your year mark. And then you have the summative assessment, which is your examination, which will take different formats, example, your MCQs or your file uploads and your e-portfolios and so forth. So this is just a summary of the assessment strategy. Okay, now let us look at preparing for online exams. Right, do you feel like this when you start thinking about preparing for final exams? I'm sure many of you do, especially the word online is what is actually making you feel the way you are actually feeling. But colleagues, we are here to allay your fears, to ensure that you are successful, to give you every bit of support that we can, right? So that you can graduate and you can reach your dreams, all right? We are not here to trap you with regard to these online assessments, but to support and to make you succeed in this here, okay? Now, these are some of the tips on preparing for online exams. As we all know, by failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. And this is a quote by Benjamin Franklin. Now, online exams may be a new or unfamiliar mode of assessment for many of you. This presentation will guide you on how to plan, revise, and prepare for online assessment. Now, in preparing for online assessment, we just got 4 steps, 4 short steps that we want you to focus on. First, it's planning for online exams. Then it's revising and practice. What do you do and how do you revise and how do you practice for your online your exams? And then preparations on the day before your exams, so that on the day of your exams, everything goes off smoothly, right? Now, here's getting ready for your online exams. Planning the online environment. Ensure that you have the appropriate device for taking your online exams. Devices such as a smartphone with a camera that you can use for scanning your work and uploading and so forth. A laptop and internet connectivity, all right? The next step, revise and practice. Plan an exam timetable, colleagues. Add all exam dates and the format of your exams. This is very important because you will notice that not all exams will have the same format. Not all modules will have the same exam format. Some of your modules might follow the format of MCQs. Some might have file download and file upload exams. Some might have portfolios. So please know in advance what format your exams are taking. Divide what you need to revise into manageable sections. Here, once again, we are emphasizing your learning outcomes. Colleagues, use your learning outcomes as a foundation for your study, all right? The learning outcomes and assessment criteria. Look at key topics, concepts, practices, theories, facts, formula. That is what is going to be covered in your module. These are the key areas that you will focus on when you are studying, all right? And as a tip, convert the information into tables, into charts, into flow diagrams, into spider diagrams. Use visuals to make your learning easy, okay? Exam practice, work on mock exams. Your lecturer might give you a mock exam that you can actually download or practice on. You might find activities, you know, in your additional resource tool and so forth. All right. Now, the day before the exams, ensure that all your ICT equipment is working and is fully charged. Check that you can download and upload your exam papers. Prepare notepads, colleagues. Have your notepads, your pens, your pencils for breaking down the questions, planning time, working out solutions to problems. It doesn't mean to say that if you are doing an online exams, everything must be done online. You download your paper, you work offline, all right? And in order for you to answer your questions, you need to have actually notepads, pencils, you know, highlighters to make your answering much more easier and focused. Familiarize yourself with the guidelines, submission times, etc. Your lecturer will give you guidelines on how to, you know, approach your exam timetable. Please look at those guidelines and become familiar with those guidelines. Right, look at what are the approved resources that's required in order for you to complete your exams. Example, a calculator, or you may just have an open book exams, right? So make sure that you have all these resources available a day before the exams. Now, on the day of the exams, choose a quiet space. Inform the family that you are writing in exams. Combine time management and exam techniques, colleagues, right? Please be careful of your time management here. Read the questions thoroughly. Submit your exams within the time frame. Do not submit your exam out of the time frame. Refer to the guidelines for troubleshooting, technical issues, and so forth. Right, you will be given tutorials or guidelines on who to contact for the purpose of troubleshooting. So please know all these here in advance. All right. So these are just a broad outline on how to get ready for the online exams. Right. Now let's move on to question types for assignments and exams. Colleagues, you'll notice that I'm not only talking about examination. Reason being that as I mentioned earlier, some of the modules have already started the approach of continuous assessment, all right, which means that your assignments are equally important as your exams, right? So these are types of assignments and exams that you may encounter. Essay questions, short answer questions, multiple choice questions, case-based scenarios, randomized MCQs, and problems with calculations, right? Now, these are some strategies on how you would approach these question types in your examination or in your assignments, right? Now, essay questions are normally used to assess depth of understanding on a topic area, right? So if you encounter an essay type of question, during the first 5 to 20 minutes of the exam, write down the relevant points you can remember on all the essay questions you will answer. Before you write, analyze the questions, students. Look at keywords. Highlight the keywords, underline the keywords and the topic words. Work out what aspect of the topic you have been asked to write about. Many students waste they waste a lot of time writing content that is not related to the topic. Develop an argument from the question and include it in your introduction. Structure the points in the body paragraphs so that one point follows the other logically and clearly. As a general rule, one paragraph is equal to 1 point, supported by an example, explanation, and evidence. Colleagues, at this point, I just want to say to you that please use examples to demonstrate your understanding of a key concept, an argument, or a point. You will really score a lot of marks if you use relevant examples, because here at UNISA, we are talking about curriculum transformation. And what this actually means, one of the pillars of curriculum transformation is to integrate authentic learning experiences in our students' experiences, okay? So use your examples from your real work situation. If not work situation, just use practical examples, maybe from textbooks and so forth. Structure your exam questions in the usual way. Remember that you need to have an introduction, a body with many paragraphs. Each paragraph has just got one idea, and then you'll have a conclusion. Now, colleagues, there's much more about answering essay question, but given the limited time, I'm just giving you some key tips. We will have more discussions around these type of questions, right? With regard to short answer questions, here again, it's short answer questions. Be precise, be concise, organize your ideas, okay? A brief question or prompt that requires a written answer, normally no more than a few sentences, or sometimes just a full paragraph is required. Give a direct answer to the question in the first sentence. And that's when the marker will say, okay, this student actually knows what she's talking about or what she's going to write about. The first sentence is critical, which explains the point you are making in the paragraph. Keep your answers to one paragraph and include keywords or phrases. How long your answer is will depend on marks allocation for the question. This means that if your short question is out of 5 marks, right, there should be 5 strong points included in that paragraph. Normally it's 1 mark per point, but this can differ. Organize your ideas logically, briefly, and concisely. Focus on the points, keywords, ideas, or phrases the examiner will be looking for when the question was designed. Answer the specific question given. Do not just write about what you know about the topic in general. This is very important, colleagues. Some people, some students, or the common mistake is students just look at the topic, they see one word, okay, I heard about this or I learned about this here, and they just go on writing without answering the, taking note of the command words. Next is problem or calculation question. Write down relevant formula, equations, and rules. If you are, okay, you'll have problem or calculation questions in maybe your maths modules, your science modules, engineering, CAS, accounting, and so forth. Clearly show the steps you have taken in working out the answers. If necessary, write some notes to explain your answers. Right? For numerical problems involving computation, make sure you include the appropriate units, for example, mLs, kms, etc. in your final answers. Many students, they will just do the calculation without writing the units, the appropriate units. Draw or illustrate the steps and resources used to solve the problem. Go through and solve the easier problems first and return to the more difficult ones later on. You will find, okay, these are for problem or calculation questions. Next, colleagues, the case study questions. Now, as I mentioned earlier, that UNISA is, we are really promoting curriculum transformation. We are trying to make our modules, our qualifications very relevant to what is actually needed out there in the workplace, right? So because of that, now you'll find that many of the modules will now start, you'll be encountering many case studies in your modules. One of the opportunity of case studies is that it offers opportunities for integrating the critical skills of the fourth industrial revolution, such as communication. Here we refer to the 4 C's: communication, critical thinking, collaboration, and creativity, colleagues. So when you have, or when you get a case study, many students find case studies very difficult, simply because they had very limited experiences with case studies, all right? But when you do get case studies, colleagues, what you need to do first is read your case studies thoroughly, analyze and interpret the question carefully, look for command words and any specific focus. Then read the case study again, underlining or noting down words or numbers that relate to module concepts or indicate a particular kind of problem. On a separate page, identify the key concept, the theories, or the main ideas that you have recognized in the case studies, and then draw relevance to this in your module, okay, and bring that in. Think how you will integrate your answer. Remember, you have to mention both the issue from the scenario and the course material. So what a case study does is it makes you think about issues in the case study, and then it makes you to make the linkage between what is covered in your study material. So you'll make the link between your study material and the case that is being studied there. Okay, and take note of the command words. For example, look at words that says critically discuss or analyze or evaluate or compare. If the scenario is worth 20 marks, make at least 5 different points, and each point must have 4 different concepts included in it. So these are guidelines on how you would approach case studies. Now, MCQs. When we look at MCQs, colleagues, you'll find that you will be exposed to automated MCQs, which means that your MCQs in the examination, you'll have to go onto My UNISA or the LMS, Learner Management System. It could be My Exams, and you'll have to complete your MCQs on the online platform. read the multiple choice in its entirety before glancing over the options. And when it comes to the options now, before you look at the options, try to answer the questions first, and then you look at the options, and that makes your answer, your answering much more easier. After reading a question, answer it in your mind before reviewing the answer option. Eliminate answer options which are 100% sure you are incorrect before selecting the answer you believe is correct. So you'll follow the process of elimination. Eliminate what you know is definitely not the possible answers, and that's how you will follow the MCQs. Colleagues, note the command words in your questions. All right. Now, this is an example of a command word. A command word will tell you exactly how you should be approaching the question. Now, what you see in red highlighted here, critically compare. This is an example of one question I'm giving you that's in teacher education, right? Critically compare two teaching approaches a teacher may use in mathematics teaching. Now, firstly, you will identify the command word. The command word is the word that tells you what you must actually do in your question. Critically compare, that's what you need to do. That's a command word. Now, this question requires a student to critically compare two different teaching approaches in particular. As such, they will not be able to pass by writing about anything less than two. Okay, then support your answer with examples where appropriate. Now, in a question like this here, this is exactly what is expected in your answer. You need to critically compare two teaching approaches such as teacher-directed or child-centered approach. Colleagues, this example is a nice example for all of you because many of you have been through the schooling system. And what I'm talking to you about here, many of you can identify with. So the two teaching approaches is the teacher-directed approach and the child-centered approach. The student's answer must include both approaches together, the strengths and weaknesses of each, and compares them to each. So the student would say, okay, what are the strengths and the weaknesses of the teacher-centered approach? What are the strengths and weaknesses of the child-centered approach? And then this is what we mean by actually critically comparing. The question did not require you to look critically at each one of the selected approach on its own, but rather compare both together and show an appropriate understanding on the effect of adopting either. So when you are critically comparing, you will say, what are the strengths of each? Teacher-centered approach, child-centered approach. Then you will bring your argument forward now and say, okay, because of these, because the child-centered or the opportunities for child-centered approach, it outweighs the opportunities for teacher-centered approach, we would recommend a child-centered approach in teaching. Okay, so this is how you would approach a question, taking heed of the command words. All right. Now, these are more command words that you will encounter in your exams, such as name or list. If you name or list is very low cognitive levels. This requires you to only state the facts and do not expand. Describe, state, or summarize. Simply record how you see a particular phenomenon. Give a brief condensed statement. Discuss, comprehensive term that includes compare, motivate, and explain. Compare means that you must weigh different elements against one another and indicate their similarities and differences. Motivate means the emphasis is on the reasons for a particular decision or point of view. A certain degree of elaboration is needed, but the main emphasis is on the analysis of the motive or the reasons. So the word motivate comes out from the word motives or reason. Why do you want, or why are you opting for this and not the other? That's the meaning of motivate. Define, write the meaning of a particular word or phrase, write the exact meaning, or write in your own words, and be careful of plagiarism here as well, colleagues. Okay. So this is my last slide. The general guidelines for examination, just to recap, Use your assignments as a guide to what type of material to study. Please, colleagues, do not feel that your assignments are a waste of time. Your assignments are equally important as your examination if you are following the conventional assignments and examination approach, all right? Because only through answering your assignments, when you get feedback, you will get feedback from your markers or your lecturer, and that feedback can be very, very, very helpful to enhance your understanding of the module. Focus on the learning outcomes and use the course outline as a framework for your study. Study both major concepts and details, relationships, similarities and differences between concepts. If you think of your module, look at the title of your module. Look at the outcomes of your module. Look at your assessment criteria. Then look at the key concepts, theories, and this is what you are going to study for your module. So don't feel that, oh, there's volumes and volumes of material, you don't know where to start. So this is how you will be guided when you're studying for your exams. Analyze and study the feedback which you receive from your lecturers. Express concepts in your own words and apply the material, colleagues. The best way to show your understanding is by using examples and to apply your understanding to the examples, right? Read through the entire paper before attempting any questions. Manage your notional hours. What this means is, notional hours means, colleagues, here I'm not only talking about your examination. If your module has a 12 credit module, you should be spending 120 hours for your module, which means that 1 credit is equates to 10 hours of studying. Right, so please make sure you plan your studying. Calculate the amount of time you spend on each section or question according to the number of marks it's worth in your examination. Leave time at the end of the exam to return to unfinished questions. Work quickly and skip questions that you can't answer right away and come back to them after you have finished the other questions. Ensure that you upload and submit your exams on time. This is critical. Do not leave the upload for the last minute. And please make sure that you get a message to say that your exams were successfully uploaded. Right. My concluding comment, colleagues, is please stay positive, work hard, make it happen. And we want to wish you every success in your studies. Thank you.
Thank you very much, for unpacking that. We also like to thank you for discussing what formative and summative assessments are and breaking that down for the students. So we much appreciate this very elaborate discussion on what assessments means. Ladies and gentlemen, you may wonder, why are we discussing assessments at this particular stage? It's quite simple. Assessments are not to be left at the end of your course. It is a process throughout your course in which you are preparing yourself towards your assessments. So I would actually suggest there was a lot of valuable things that Dr. Salosh Govender mentioned, from defining assessments, defining the variety of assessments and approaches at UNISA, to the approach that you need to take as part of a student. So what I would actually suggest that you do is grab a hold of this recording and replay this section as you start preparing yourself for the upcoming assessments and examination at the same time. So thank you very much, Dr. Salosh Govender, once again for unpacking that for us and articulating it in a very clear way, but in a very positive way that prepares our students as well. Ladies and gentlemen, as you have heard earlier, that our next session is actually going to be about breakaway groups, where you go to different regions and you engage some critical issues around the different technology aspects and competencies that are needed and the how-to at UNISA. At this time, I'm going to invite Ms. Bongi Leboloni to direct us and provide some orientation to us on the breakaway sessions. It's my pleasure now to invite Bongi. Bongi, thank you very much as you share and orientate our students to this. Much appreciated, Bongi.
Thank you, Program Director. And once more, good afternoon to our students. I'm here to introduce our breakaway sessions. As promised yesterday, you'll recall that those who were there, I said it will be time that we connect with technology and engage with our professional staff which is our digital learning advisors, so that we can get a chance to interact with them and ask those bothering questions that we have been facing since we have registered. You know, we have done a lot of talking, and this is time for action. Sometimes it's easy when things are said, but when they're supposed to be done, they seem to be tricky. So our breakaway session, the guys are ready for us. They are eagerly waiting for us. They can't wait to meet you. So this is where we will be meeting our regions on specific things that we want to engage them with. Some of us, we have met or we have seen this book sometime in our lifetime. Others 50 years ago, others 20 years ago. It depends at what age you are on. Remember, for you to pass your driver's license, you couldn't do it if you don't go through your manual, your learner's manual. So what we have done since yesterday, including today, we have been empowering you or capacitating you, you know, with a lot of theory, which is in terms of manual, and tools, which is resources. So we believe where you are now, you are well equipped theoretically with what you are expected to do. But as indicated, you also need more than that, because it's not about the theoretical concept that you have received from us, but what will matter or what will help you to succeed in your studies. You need to apply what you have heard for the past 2 days, or from yesterday and today. You have to put it into practice. So students, we have these regions listed on this slide. We have Eastern Cape region. So all students that reside from this region, Eastern Cape, we have our DLA there, OA2, Mkhwakyu. He'll be helping you on that side. And then you don't have to worry about the links that are showing on the slide, because this one are not live, but my colleague, the team that is working behind the scenes, will share these links so that you can click on the one that is relevant to where you are. We also have Gauteng region. We also have KwaZulu-Natal region. We also have Northeastern region. We also have Midlands region. We have also on board Western Cape region. So for each and every region, as I've indicated, we've got organizers that are already in the virtual classes as we speak, waiting for you so that you can join with them and have engagement. So for Gauteng, we've got Ronald. For KwaZulu-Natal, we've got Siyabonga. For Northeastern, we've got Mr. Donald. For Midlands, we've got Mpho. And then for Western Cape, we've got Sivu Day. So students, this is the opportunity that you cannot miss. Already the links have been exposed or shared in our platform. You'll just, after the program director has wrapped up the program, then you can go to those classes and attend those classes so that you can know your digital learning advisors better, and you can also share your challenges and understand how the environment works better. They will be sharing things like My UNISA as well. If you have a problem with My UNISA, you couldn't do other things, or you don't know where to find what, they are there to assist you. They will be also speaking about the MS Team support. If you specifically have questions that are specific to the things that you have tried or the things that you want to try or that you didn't understand during the presentation. They will be also outlining issues of MS Teams. They will also be assisting you with how, practically this time, how to download your or to find your tutorial letters, to download your material, and they will also show you how to submit your assignments, and also where to find the dates of the exam, online exams, timetables, all those things. They will also show you the project site for each region, so that if you are not sure what to do or what's happening, you can always go to the project site, because that's where most of the announcements that are related to the region are made. The project site is also part of my UNISA. So please make sure that you don't miss this opportunity. It will be 30 minutes per session. And then if you can't be accepted in the link, don't worry, we'll still be around here in this platform, and then you'll also be, we will also reopen the links. If the link is full, we'll reopen the link so that you can also be able to join and be accepted in the session. So thank you very much. We're looking forward to see you in our breakaway sessions. Over to you, Program Director.
Thank you very much, Vongi, for describing and orientating to our students how the next session would work in terms of the practical how-to. So, ladies and gentlemen, please join the sessions as I round up. Please join the sessions. The links are already available on the learning management platform. I've checked the Q&A session and it's publicly available. It's now left for me just to round up for the day and wrap up specifically for this session. I'd just like to say thank you very much for joining us for day 2 of this virtual orientation session. I know many of you are already preparing for the Easter break, and this is coming at that time, but I'm sure you would have found this very informative and engaged, specifically the technology aspects that we shared today. So once again, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for our presenters today for also presenting, and our group of people, expertise that are working in the background of this as well. Thank you, colleagues. Thank you very much to all our students that have joined us. And it now gives me an opportunity to say, wish you well for the Easter weekend. Remember to stay safe wherever you are. If you're traveling, drive safe, and remember to observe all the COVID-19 protocol as we engage in this festive time. Thank you very much, and I wish you all the best for the rest of the day. And please remember, join our sessions in the regions by clicking on the link. Thank you very much, and God bless you at this time.